So about 14 months ago, a video started circulating on rural homesteading forums. No production value, no professional camera work, just someone walking through what looked like a converted grain silo, curved corrugated steel walls, a poured concrete floor, a circular loft overhead, and talking about how they'd built it for under $90,000 and hadn't paid more than $65 a month in electricity since they moved in. 4 million views. Not because the production was good, because the building was doing something to people emotionally that rectangular homes stopped doing a long time ago. It felt like something you'd never seen before. It felt like someone had looked at a piece of agricultural infrastructure that's been sitting on American land for 100 years and asked a question nobody thought to ask. What if someone lived in it? And what if the answer was, yes, actually. This might be one of the best homes I've ever been in. That's the circular silo barndominium. And here's exactly why it's catching on. If you're watching the edges of alternative construction for the ideas that are genuinely worth paying attention to, subscribe to Barndominium Haven right now. Hit the bell. Stay till the cost section, because the silo barndominium's economics in 2026 are genuinely one of the most compelling numbers in alternative residential construction right now. Let's get into it. Let me be precise about what we're talking about, because silo home means different things depending on who's using the term. There are two main approaches in 2026. Approach 1, the converted agricultural silo. An actual grain silo, typically 18 to 36 feet in diameter, anywhere from 40 to 80 feet tall, purchased as salvage or from a farm decommissioning, and converted to residential use through interior finishing, insulation, mechanical rough-in, and window cutting. The structural shell already exists. You're not building a circle. You're finishing one. Approach 2, the purpose-built silo barndominium. A new cylindrical structure, built using corrugated steel panels curved to a specific radius, engineered specifically for residential use, either as a single cylinder or as a cluster of 2 or 3 cylinders of different heights, arranged around a shared space. Both approaches produce a cylindrical living space. Both are genuinely being built in significant numbers in 2026. The converted silo is typically more affordable up front, but carries more conversion complexity. The purpose-built cylinder costs more to build, but gives you a residential-grade structure from day one. For most people asking me which direction to go, I lean toward the purpose-built approach unless you're genuinely experienced in structural assessment and conversion work. A grain silo was not designed for residential occupancy, and the structural, insulation, and foundation conditions of any specific silo need proper engineering assessment before you commit to converting one. Let me be honest about where this trend is actually originating, because it's not coming from architects or from the mainstream home-building industry. It's coming from 3 specific communities. The homesteading community, people building on rural land, prioritizing cost efficiency, energy performance, and resilience, who discovered that a circular steel structure hits all 3 categories simultaneously. The minimalist living community, people who've made a deliberate choice to live in less space, more intentionally, and who find that a circular interior changes their relationship to space in ways that a rectangular room never quite managed. And the architectural enthusiast community, people who aren't architects but who follow design seriously, who saw those videos and immediately understood that the circular silo was doing something structurally and spatially honest that most residential architecture doesn't even attempt. What connects all 3 groups? It's not aesthetics, it's the feeling that this building was designed by physics rather than by convention. It looks the way it does because of what it is, not because a style was chosen and applied to it. That authenticity is what's driving the popularity. Let me give you the actual engineering case for the cylindrical form, because it's real and it's significant. A cylinder under compressive load distributes that load uniformly around its circumference. There are no corners where stress concentrates. There are no flat walls where wind pressure can build uniformly across a large surface area. Wind hitting a cylinder is deflected around the curve, the same principle that makes airplane fuselages cylindrical, that makes water towers spherical, that makes grain silos stand in Kansas tornado country for 60 or 70 years while the barns around them get blown flat. Post-storm engineering surveys in tornado-affected regions consistently document higher survival rates for cylindrical structures than for rectangular ones of equivalent construction. This isn't theoretical, it's in the field data. A purpose-built residential cylinder of 24 to 30 foot diameter, properly engineered, with a continuous ring foundation, is one of the most wind-resilient residential configurations available in alternative construction. For anyone building in Tornado Alley, the Gulf Coast Hurricane Corridor, or any high wind exposure location, that's not a minor consideration. That's potentially the most important structural decision in the entire build. Here's what I want to talk about more than the engineering, because the engineering is why you should build it, but what the cylinder does to the interior experience is why you'll love living in it. I've been inside a lot of unusual buildings: Quonset huts, hexagonal cabins, dome homes, 20-sided polygons, and the circular interior is the most spatially distinct experience of any of them. Here's why. In a rectangular room, you're always oriented. You know which wall is the front, which is the back, which direction is the door. The rectangle imposes a reading direction on the space, and you relate to the room relative to that direction. In a circular room, there is no front, no back, no primary axis. You are at the center of a space that is identical in every direction, and that absence of directional orientation, which sounds disorienting, is actually profoundly calming. Your nervous system doesn't have to figure out where to look. There's no correct orientation. Every position is equal. The room holds you rather than directing you. And when you add a circular loft above, a ring of sleeping or storage space that follows the curve of the upper wall, and a central open volume below it, the vertical experience of the space, the height, the drama, the way your eye travels up the curved wall to the ceiling, is genuinely extraordinary in a way I haven't encountered in any rectangular building at any budget level. Here's where the silo Barndominium makes its most compelling practical argument. A cylinder has less surface area per unit of enclosed volume than any other shape. For a given amount of interior floor space, a circle uses less wall and ceiling area than a rectangle, a square, or any polygon. Less surface area means less thermal interface between inside and outside. Less thermal interface means less heat transfer. Less heat transfer means lower HVAC demand. A 30-foot diameter circular building, 706 square feet of floor area, has a wall circumference of approximately 94 feet. A rectangular building of the same 706 square feet might be 26 by 27 feet, a wall perimeter of approximately 106 feet, 12% more wall perimeter, 12% more thermal exposure, 12% more HVAC load, for every year you live in the building. On a building this well-insulated, with closed-cell spray foam applied to the interior of the curved wall surface, that 12% efficiency advantage compounds over time into real energy savings. The $65 monthly electricity bill in that original viral video is not a fantasy. For a single person or a couple living in a well-insulated, properly oriented 700 to 800 square foot circular silo building in a moderate climate, $65 to $100 a month in total energy cost is achievable. I've looked at enough builds to say that with confidence. My favorite feature, the circular loft. Not as sleeping space, although that works beautifully, as a circulation experience. Here's what I mean. In a standard Barndominium loft, rectangular, open to below, you go up a staircase, you arrive on a floor, you're in a rectangular room that happens to be above another rectangular room. In a circular silo, the loft follows the curve. It's a ring, a continuous circular walkway that follows the inner circumference of the cylinder, with the open central void dropping below it to the floor of the main space. You don't just arrive on the loft. You walk the curve. You can walk the full circumference of the loft ring, 360 degrees, looking down into the central volume from every angle. At different points on the ring, you're looking toward the south window, the north window, the east, the west. Every position on the ring offers a different view of the same central space. That's a spatial experience that no rectangular loft can replicate. It's not just sleeping up there, it's inhabiting the geometry of the building in 3 dimensions. That's my favorite thing. The mistake, cutting too many windows. I see this constantly on purpose-built silo builds, and I completely understand the instinct. You've got a cylinder. The curved walls feel enclosing. You want light. You want views. You start cutting windows. 4 windows. 6 windows. 1 on every cardinal direction plus the diagonals. And what you've done is compromised both the structural integrity of the cylinder and the spatial experience that makes it worth building. Here's the structural problem first. The cylinder's strength comes from its continuous perimeter. Every opening cut into that perimeter interrupts the load path. Multiple large windows distributed around the cylinder create multiple interruptions at multiple points, each one requiring a structural lintel above the opening to redirect the load, and together, they begin to fragment the continuous structural ring that is the entire basis for the cylinder's wind resistance performance. You're cutting away the thing that makes the building work. And the spatial problem, a circular room with windows on every face, loses its sense of enclosure and shelter. It stops feeling like a space that holds you. It starts feeling like a glass room that happens to have curved walls. The right approach, 2 large openings, maybe 3. Positioned for solar orientation, south and east for light, north for diffused daylight. Not distributed evenly around the circumference because symmetry feels right. Thoughtful window placement, not maximum window count. Real numbers. 2026 mid-cost markets. Purpose-built circular silo barndominium. 30-foot diameter. 706 square feet ground floor. Circular loft ring covering 50% of the ground floor area. Approximately 350 additional square feet. Total. Approximately 1,056 square feet. Purpose-built corrugated steel cylinder shell, ring foundation, roof cone or flat roof system, $42,000 to $64,000. This is where the silo's economics are genuinely remarkable. A 30-foot diameter cylinder has significantly less exterior surface area than a rectangular building of equivalent floor space, which means less steel, less insulation, less material across the board. Structural engineering, cylindrical residential structure, foundation ring design, $3,500 to $6,000. Foundation, continuous ring beam, $12,000 to $18,000. Closed cell spray foam, curved interior surface, $14,000 to $20,000. Curved surface spray foam requires a more careful application technique than flat wall application. Budget for an experienced applicator specifically. Interior circular loft structure, engineered ring beam, decking, railing, circular stair, $18,000 to $28,000. This is the most design-intensive element in the build. Don't value engineer the stair. The circular stair is the central sculptural element of the interior. Spend appropriately on it. Rough-in plumbing, $7,500 to $11,000. Rough-in electrical, $6,500 to $9,500. HVAC, single-zone mini-split, $4,500 to $7,000 to WAC. Well, $8,500 to $12,000. Windows, 2 large openings, custom curved or flat frames, $6,000 to $10,000. Interior finishes, curved wall drywall or exposed insulation finish, loft floor, bathroom, kitchen, $18,000 to $28,000. Note: curved drywall installation costs approximately 25 to 35% more than flat wall drywall per square foot. Budget accordingly. Contingency, 15%, $20,000 to $31,000. Total realistic build cost, $169,500 to $257,500 fully finished. Mid-cost U.S. market, 2026, for 1,056 square feet of genuinely extraordinary living space, approximately $160 to $244 per square foot. That's competitive with a standard Barndominium of equivalent square footage, with significantly better wind resistance, lower thermal load, lower projected energy costs, and an interior spatial experience that no rectangular building at any price comes close to delivering. Here's my honest take on why the circular silo Barndominium is gaining the attention it is. It's not a trend. Trends are driven by aesthetics, people adopting a look because it's current. This is driven by performance. People discovering that a shape designed by agricultural necessity over 100 years ago, for maximum structural efficiency, minimum material, maximum volume, turns out to be one of the most thermally efficient, structurally resilient, spatially extraordinary residential configurations available in 2026. Not because someone designed it for that purpose, because the engineering that made it the right shape for storing grain turns out to be the same engineering that makes it a genuinely excellent home. That's not a trend. That's physics finally being allowed to inform residential architecture, and I think we're going to see a lot more of it. Subscribe to Barndominium Haven. Tell me in the comments, converted agricultural silo or purpose-built cylinder, and what would you do with the loft ring? I want to know. And I'll see you in the next one.